What's going on, traders? It's Julian here. It's Sunday, and for me, the work week doesn't stop. It actually starts here on Sunday. I've said this a bunch of times, and been at it for a couple hours already, getting ready for tomorrow. And what I wanted to share with you is the daily routine that you should be jumping into every single morning. And it starts with four key components that I want to share with you very, very quickly this morning in this video. So the four key components to my daily routine when it comes to monitoring stocks is A, is there a catalyst? B, what are the corresponding futures? C, what are my intraday levels? And D, what are my stock patterns? So again, A through D are 1 through 4. Catalysts, corresponding futures, intraday levels, and stock patterns. And I want to give you some insight as to how all four of those collectively come up for me on my side when I'm looking at a stock. So stay tuned for the rest of this video and watch what I do 1 through 4 or A through D, whatever I said. But here is my daily routine. So I'm first and foremost looking at the futures. Now this, of course, is for Thursday. This is everything I did on Thursday. Friday the markets were closed, but this is what I was looking at on Thursday. I was looking at sort of a wider time frame on the S&P using the SPY. And you know what we were looking at is we were looking at these key levels that were breaching, retesting, and moving. So you can actually see over here on this 15-minute chart of the SPY that markets were actually looking pretty strong over a few-day period. Price action squeezed, it broke long, retested, and then moved. And this was actually Thursday, and you can actually see that we broke that $400 level on the SPY. Very, very bullish psychological number. The market was looking to step in long at that $400 mark. That's exactly what happened. So with respects to corresponding futures, I'm looking at the actual markets, and the markets are long. More things are up versus down, and so that's going to have a positive effect on any stocks that I'm looking to get long. You typically want to trade in the same direction as the overall markets. It just sort of strengthens your thesis. So that's the SPY. The S&P 500 is moving long. The ETF that tracks the S&P 500, the SPY, obviously is moving long. We've breached that 4,000 S&P 500 level, and now I'm looking at what's going on my personal scanner. So you can see at the top end of the scanner, ACY was my top mover, up 154% at the close, up even more at the peak of the day. But what we're now looking for are those intraday levels. Oh, also, ACY did have a catalyst. I'm not going to get into what the catalyst was, but there was some positive news that hit the wire about ACY, which is what prompted and triggered this thing to move long. So what we're going to be looking for are the corresponding futures and what the overall markets are doing. We're going to get down here to the scanner to see what the top mover is. ACY was the top mover. And then again with that top mover, what is and is there corresponding news? And there absolutely was. The next thing I want to do is I actually want to look at previous levels that this stock could potentially break out or find some resistance at. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark off the levels that are the most accurate. And so what I'm looking at is this previous consolidation high level right through here at 963. And then I'm also going to go over to this peak here where I can see that there is some resistance a few times over, and that is going to be a level that price action might start to battle with. Now, spoiler alert, you can actually see on ACY that price action topped out at 1540. I actually got into this thing in the $5.50 level. I'm going to show you that. I'm going to break this down for you step by step. But you can see that this is the range that I actually stepped into. And now what we're looking at is we're looking for patterns. So we've already looked at the corresponding markets. We've looked at if there's a catalyst, which there absolutely was. Now we're looking at those key levels. And now what we're going to be focusing on is patterns. Now for me specifically, I actually traded this very, very early on in the day. And what I was getting long was this actual flag pattern right through here that broke long and then retested the previous high at that point. That was my entire trade. And so now what I'm looking for is on this stock that has a catalyst that is moving in the same direction as the overall markets. Now I'm looking for my intraday levels, and I'm also looking for key patterns. And you can see on ACY that there's a flag pattern here, and then there was actually a bigger, more pronounced flag down through here that coincides with one of those first key levels. So it's no surprise that this thing ripped up to that level, broke it, pulled back, retested it, and then moved to the next technical level at 1540. So I just broke everything down for you there. This is exactly the model that I go through every single morning in terms of my daily routine. When I sit down at my computer, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over my scanner to see what's moving, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to ask that scanner, okay, what's moving, what's the catalyst? If there isn't one, I take a step back. If there is one, I move forward. Once I've got that catalyst, then I want to go and look at what the top end of the market is doing. What is the SPY doing? What's the NASDAQ? What's IWM? What's the Dow doing? And I just want to make sure that everything is moving in tandem in the correct direction. And if the stock that I'm looking at is moving in the same direction as the markets, I know that I've got a correlated trade. And then from there, I just start to sit and wait for my intraday levels to touch. And then I also look to see where I can get in with a high probability pattern. And once I'm in, I then look to move to those key technical levels, either on a longer time frame or on an intraday time frame. I'm always trading intraday. These are 2-minute charts that I'm trading with, and this is my long strategy only. So that's one key component of what I do every single day. I hope that some of this has helped. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment or reach out if you want to learn more about what I'm doing on an intraday basis.